Well, it's finally happened, friends. Diddy has been arrested. Sean Diddy Combs' arrest. The full indictment. We're going to go through some of the things that he's indicted for and some updates on what's going on right now. He is currently on suicide watch, and there is a bunch of people who are saying that he's, he might get Epsteined. And we're going to kind of go into that. So we're going to go into more of the people who surround him, because in these types of situations, no one is acting alone. No one is just able to do this by themselves and conducting all, flying in people. He is he was, or maybe still is, a billionaire. And so you can only imagine that he's paying all these people to take care of certain things for him. Again, remember from the original indictments and the original case, especially from Lil Rod, when he's talking about how these sex parties included people walking around with drugs in their fanny packs. It takes a lot of planning to do those kinds of things. So we're going to get into all that. We're also going to be talking about the connections, some of the things that were left off the current indictment, and what this all sort of means. So we're going to kind of break this all down and see if we can reach some conclusions. So let's jump into this, and we'll read this article here. So, that's not the article. Let's get into this, guys, because this is wild. And we all knew that Diddy was wild. So Diddy has been charged with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, transporting for prostitution following the hip-hop mogul's arrest on Monday night. Now, this is off of Rolling Stones. So shout out to Rolling Stones, even though they are just a puppet of the state. They are a mouthpiece propaganda machine for the state. Combs' arrest comes nearly 6 months after Homeland Security agents raided the former billionaire's home in Los Angeles and Miami, and nearly a year after his ex-girlfriend Cassie filed a sex trafficking and sex abuse lawsuit against Combs in November. In the months since, 8 more women and 1 man have come forward to sue Combs with allegations ranging from sex trafficking to sexual assault. Combs vehemently denies all accusations against him. So Tuesday, March. So he was arrested, I believe, on Monday. Was that right? Monday, and then the indictment charges, the actual the documentation came out on Tuesday. So on Tuesday morning, SDNY prosecutors released a 14-page indictment against Combs. If convicted, the most serious charge, racketeering, Combs stands to face decades in prison. So he is looking at a long time prison sentence. And here is the indictment. There's a lot in here, and we're gonna go through some of this stuff here. And I thought they broke it down to what some of the stuff is. So we're going to go to Ian Carroll, because I love Ian and the way he explains stuff. He has just become such an amazing reporter. And let's just check it out, because he's going to kind of go through what he's talking about. And we're going to go through some of the things that were left off of the indictment. Now, I do want to break down the indictment, so we'll be doing all that. So let's check out Ian. And we're going to speed it up to, hold on, we're going to speed this crap up here to 1.5, because we got shit to do, y'all. Let's go. Ian Carroll.
They've released the indictment against Diddy, meaning they're telling us what they're charging him with now that they've arrested him. And there's some things that are missing. It's 14 pages long, and if you're on X, where we can post links, the link will be right below. Basically, they're charging him with guns, prostitution, drugs, and the whole racketeering thing. But they are not charging him with anything related to minors, anything related to video or sexual blackmail. And notably, Lucian Grange's name, the CEO of Universal Music Group that was in the original allegations, his name's nowhere to be found. We'll dig into some theories on all that in just a second, but first, some key points and a funny thing. They talk about the freak-offs, and they talk about raiding his home and finding supplies for the freak-offs. Notably, apparently, in the raid of Diddy's home, they found more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant.
And by the way, y'all, they found, so this has been a meme. So you guys have probably been seeing the memes of Diddy with his, I think I saw a house of 1,000 baby oils or something. It was a meme that was going around. Pretty funny. But baby oil, I just want to say, is not a great lube. So just so you guys know, baby oil is not great. Even the prostitutes in Las Vegas agree that baby oil is not a great a lubricant for sex. Use sex-based stuff. KY is great, right? Water-based. Everybody just stick with the KY. So over 1,000 things of baby oil and lube. That is disgusting. But hey, I mean, when you have all that power and you're allowed to do these things, then hey, whatever.
And, bro, they are clearly drawing from the Cassie lawsuit with statements like, these assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. I'm sure she's not the only witness they've got. These occasions included instances in which a victim was required to remain in hiding, sometimes for several days at a time, to recover from injuries Combs inflicted without being publicly observed. Cassie alleged that at one point it was more than a week, maybe multiple weeks, to heal from her injuries. It's a fucked up lawsuit.
And, I got to say something about Cassie. Now, I understand that Cassie is a victim here, but we also got to remember that she was an adult making decisions and that she was taking part in some real depravity. Now, I know she's the victim, and I'm not trying to victim blame, but we also have to keep in mind that she was an adult who was making adult decisions, and there are some fucked up allegations against both of them. So they would be like, she was basically his sex slave, his concubine. He had other sex slaves, and we're going to watch a video on that. And people are connecting a larger web here, right? So, we'll get to all that, but we're looking at some kind of blackmail ring, right? Something akin to the Epstein situation. And Ian, I saw him on an InfoWars, just not with Alex, but with I can't remember his name, but he made a really great point, is that there has to be more than just Jeffrey Epstein. I think Jeffrey Epstein was just one of them, right? He was just the tip of the iceberg. And Jeffrey Epstein didn't have access to the black community like Diddy did, right? Like, because Diddy was I mean, he still is, he's a billionaire, but he was at his peak, a very beloved figure in the minds of the public. So he had access to a huge black community. And I want to look more into it, but he also supported the Bully fraternity, which is a secret society within the black community. So there is some kind of connection there, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to research a little bit more into that. We'll get back to you. But yeah, so we're looking at something that's more of a Epstein-esque enterprise that probably is linked to Israel, like Jeffrey Epstein is to Mossad, especially when you look at people like Lucien Gray, who was in the original indictments from Lil Rod. He was listed as one of the people who would participate in these freak-offs. Now, these freak-offs would go for days, right? And I think Ian even talks about this in this video. But these freak-offs would go for days, where they would need liquid IVs to replenish their fluids and to sort of get past any drug hangovers. Because when you're on a bender and you actually pass out for a minute and you wake up, you might feel like crap. So you need to get those IVs so you can keep drinking, drugging, and being disgusting. Again, Cassie was involved in these things. And again, I'm not victim blaming, but we also have to take into consideration that she was doing some really horrible things under the tutelage of Diddy. So let's get back to this. We're going to expand on all of that, what I just said, as we go through this video. So here we go.
He's also charged with tampering with witnesses by bribing and intimidating them, including acts of violence, including kidnapping and arson. Multiple counts.
So the arson thing, I want to say also, one of the arson cases is connected to Kid Cudi, who was, I believe, was it Cassie? She was seeing Cassie. Let's fact check that, guys. Was it Cassie and Kid Cudi? I'm not sure if that's right. Car bomb. Because Diddy threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's. Yes, so it was Cassie. So yes, Cassie was seeing Kid Cudi or something along that line, and he blew up his car, Kid Cudi's car, out of jealousy. And Kid Cudi actually has confirmed it. I believe he put out a tweet saying, he confirms what Cassie is saying, that Diddy blew up his car like the mafia. And so when you see these acts like a mob type stuff where uh, Diddy's calling on people, fixers, right? He's calling on people to come and fix the situation. Like the situation in Los Angeles where he called his fixer, who happened to be connected to Michael Jackson. He was there when Michael Jackson died. His Muhammad, what was his name? I can't remember his full name. I believe it was Muhammad. He was somebody that he would give a phone number to all of his people. Diddy would give a phone number to all of his people in his circle, saying, if you ever run into trouble, call Muhammad Fareed, I think is his name, and he'll come and make it all go away. So there is some connection. A lot of people are speculating that there is connection between Fareed and the CIA and or the DOJ, and there is some connection between Lucian Grange and Israel. And so sort of backing up here, Diddy is doing all these bombing, like he is doing like mob stuff. And if you're thinking like, why would the government have anything to do with somebody like Diddy? Well, if you look at the Epstein case, they were clearly using blackmail scheme to control politicians and billionaires into into going along with Israel's agenda, right? Like Israel has a very specific agenda, and I'm not trying to say that the Jews run the world or anything like that. So back up. But I am saying that that Israel does have an agenda to preserve and maintain Israel, right? Like the Jews are going to live, right? They are going to survive. They're surrounded by enemies. Anyways, sort of coming back to it, the United States has worked with the mob plenty of times, right? Like, so it looks like that Diddy is running his organization, which is also a music organization, entertainment organization, all kinds of different legal ventures, but he's also running this dark underground trafficking, getting girls, putting on parties, and he's also blowing up cars, and he's also influencing elections, right? Because rock the vote or no, vote or die is Diddy. So it's not outside the realm of possibilities for government agencies to be working with mobsters, doing criminal activity. The law, according to these alphabet organizations, is a very gray thing. There's no real morality behind it. They will murder children and in faraway places if it is a means to achieve their goal, right? So there is no real morality. And so why wouldn't they join up with gangsters such as P. Diddy? I mean, think about Whitey Bulger, right? He was I think Boston or Cleveland. I can't remember. But he was working for the Fed. He was a crime boss who was working with the feds for like 20 fucking years, right? So he was an informant. The JFK assassination was a combination of the mob, Israel, fucking the CIA, right? It was a combination of all these different organizations coming together. So I'm just bringing this up just for the folks who might have a hard time seeing this as something bigger than just some pervert, trying to record videos of people having sex for his own personal pleasure, which it is that, but it is also something more than that. So he's able to blow up Kid Cudi's car. Nobody bats an eye, right? Like, why is nobody bat? He's able to murder people, shoot people in the Los Angeles studio, and the cops say it's just some drive-by, right? Like, how is he able to do this? And most of the time when people are above the law, they usually have connections within these agencies or have just a shit ton of money. So you could make the case that he's just really rich and is able to afford to buy his way out of law, because the law doesn't apply to people who have money, right? And we understand that generally as regular citizens. So let's go back to Ian here and let him finish up the video, and we'll get more into the larger picture of things.
Counts of that. They also found 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers and a drum magazine, along with a ton of drugs and other stuff. They list out the specific drug compounds. And now here's the bigger picture. What they're actually doing to him is they're basically charging him with enough to put him away for good, theoretically. And they're seeking to forfeit any and all property, real and personal, involved or used in any of these crimes, as well as any property, stuff, profits derived from or proceeds obtained from any of these crimes, including if he's gotten rid of anything, sold anything, or his assets have diminished in value. They intend to take from him equal value to everything he's being charged with, regardless. They'll basically claw it back from him. It's worth noting that these charges are being brought in the Southern District of New York, which is notoriously corrupt, and it is the same district that brought the charges against Epstein, although they did put Epstein in jail, so I guess that's something going for them. So anyways,
and of course, Epstein notoriously took his own life while under the New York federal law, right? So right now, Diddy is on a suicide watch. So just keep that in mind, folks. Diddy is on a suicide watch. And when you think about the connections he may or may not have to a larger network and who he could put under, right? Like, because does he know things that are worth him being suicided over, right? Like, does he know too much? You got to understand, a lot of these operations are very compartmentalized, right? So you're on a need to know basis. And that's how they sort of stem some of these from leaks and for potential, espionage, spies, people being able to send information to a foreign government, but it's incomplete. And that's why they keep it compartmentalized. Okay. So let's listen to Ian some more. And
pessimistic take here is that they're not charging him with any of the darkest and most important shit. They're letting all the other people off the hook. Lucian Grange is not named. There's no upwards charges. They're not going for the big conspiracy. No mention of sexual blackmail or the videotapes, the hidden cameras, any of that.
No minors.
That's kind of whack. The optimistic take, which is totally plausible. Liz Crokin has shared this take, and she's been on this longer than anyone just about. Very possible, is that they're using this strategically in order to go after Diddy hard enough to make him squeal on the bigger fish involved, so they can start making more arrests and start going after the larger organization, because they are charging with racketeering, and they do clearly lay out a criminal organization, which he was a ringleader in. But that's where things stand right now. Personally, I am not optimistic that we're going to get what this case really deserves, and I'm not optimistic that the big fish are actually going to get framed.
Me neither.
I bet they're going to arrest a bunch of other people that you've never heard of, maybe a couple rappers, maybe a producer or two that were involved in this scheme and did horrible things and deserve to go to prison for the rest of their lives, but that they are not going to go up to people like Lucian, that they're not going to go towards the video blackmail angle, and that we're never going to see those tapes or hear about that blackmail ring. I hope I'm wrong.
Yep.
I hope it cracks wide open, but I don't think Jay-Z's worried too much right now. But he should be, because we're coming for him. We're coming for all of them. All lies will be exposed. They've released the indictment again.
And that's a great way to end that video for him, because Jay-Z, oh my God, what's her name? Jaguar. She talked a lot about this stuff when, for years now, because she was involved in that New York hip hop scene, and these guys sold their soul to some real evil. And Jay-Z, I guess, is one of the worst offenders. So I don't know. That's all speculation, but Jaguar was right about a lot of stuff. So it's a little weird, right? So there is another video that just sort of resurfaced from 2018, and I put it up on my, I don't have it pulled up, do I? I have it up on my Instagram. So let's just give it a watch. Also, we're also seeing that, sorry, I'm like reading something about what's her name? What's this? Diddy prosecutors may interview new witnesses in ongoing sex trafficking. So there's new witnesses being brought in. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I'm hoping that they are trying to go after the big fish. That would be amazing, because sex trafficking, underage kids. This is terrible stuff. This is evil, completely evil and demented. Let's go to my... Okay, can we go to my homepage, bro? Oh, yeah. Is that how we do it? Look at this is Epstein 2.0. If you think about the similarities, are uncanny. Look at this. Look, everybody's making this, right? Everyone's making this this connection between the both of them, and the fact that there is connections between Diddy leading back to Israel and the Mossad, or at least Israel itself. It says a lot. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? I've said this a lot. If you are a company surrounded by enemies, if you're an entity surrounded by enemies, you're going to do whatever you can, and you will do whatever you have to do to stay alive, because that's what organisms do. And I'm talking about Israel, of course. And so you can't blame them too much for wanting to survive, but that's a whole nother topic, and we're not going to go into that. So let's try to get back to my homepage, because I'm trying to... This is crazy. How am I not able to go back to my homepage? What the fuck? What the fuck? Fine, we'll go to TikTok. I know how to do that. I guess I'm just this old fucking millennial who doesn't know how to do stuff. Yeah, got it. Look,
many people want to know why drug dealers are making their drugs so...
Why do they make them so powerful, bro? So this is...
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a video from 2018. And this is footage of Jonathan Oddie. Now, Jonathan Oddie, back in 2018, went into Trump's hotel back in Miami and shot it up and put out a what do you call it? A American flag over the hotel lobby and was shooting. I don't believe that he actually went to or actually got shot or anything, or I don't think anyone died in this attack. But what's really interesting is that he is connected to Diddy. Now, let's listen to him. This is pretty fast, so just pay attention. If you're listening on audio, just listen. All right, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, watch this.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate, talking what to do with Cassie. I was like a sex slave, okay? For them, that's what I was.
They say on Friday he opened fire inside President Donald Trump's luxury hotel.
Sir, I'm ordering that you stay away from the Trump National Doral Hotel.
Police say that's where Odie stole an American flag from, and that he went into the lobby yelling anti-Trump remarks before shooting the ceiling and chandeliers. Police say he then got into a gun battle with responding officers.
The gun battle goes on for nearly a minute before Odie decides to make a run for it. Another camera capturing him still firing shots, even tripping on the marble floor. Odie was shot in the legs as he ran away and was arrested after running up a stairwell.
The accused gunman, Jonathan Oddie, faced a judge for the first time Monday.
Mr. Oddie, you were arrested for 5 counts of attempted second-degree murder of a law enforcement officer.
I've settled $4.125 million with Diddy. I've settled $4.125 million with Diddy. Okay, but he's scared that I was exposed.
I don't want to talk about Diddy right now. I want to talk about you. Help me understand you. I mean, who?
White men like Trump need to be banished. That way of thinking is real dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, checking out this video, right? So what this guy is saying, Jonathan Oddie, he's alleging that he was a sex slave for Diddy and Cassie. And that's why I'm saying, I understand that, in the video he's talking about, he was their sex slave and he would have sex with Cassie and he would be in the corner, pleasuring himself. And, he would be doing drugs and drugged him. And apparently, according to, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I had to run downstairs and let my wife in. So I'm out of breath. I ran and I'm fat. So, stay healthy, friends. So what he's indicating here is that, in my mind, what I'm seeing, because alleged Trump gunman Jonathan Oddie was dead broke to buying a property buying spree 1 month before he attacked Trump. So he's saying in this video that Diddy gave him like 1.42 or whatever $1 million to stay silent about the things he's seeing, but he's also seems like he's implicating that he was hired to sort of go, take care of Trump, because when you hear at the end of that video, listen to what he says. It's dangerous, right? Like, and think about it, vote or die. Diddy has been very involved in politics his whole career, right? And he's always, obviously, for the left. He was always against Trump. But when you hear him say this to Charlemagne the Cuck,
You, I mean, who?
White men like Trump need to be banished. That way of thinking is real dangerous.
you know,
Update.
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call it.
so
Yeah.
it's real dangerous. And he says white men like Trump need to be banished. Now, he didn't say murdered, right? He didn't say assassinated, but he did say banished. And so we're looking at this from another perspective. Like, was Diddy trying to pull off some sort of operation? You know, like, was he trying to get to him? Because think about it, like, just last week, there was some guy who almost assassinated Trump, which he went over to Ukraine and volunteered to fight in the army over there. So, you know, he's some kind of like connected to the government somehow. This dude tried to assassinate Trump in his golf course, and he had ceramic plates up on a fence, and he meant to do battle. So what the fuck, right? Like, when I say that these agencies, and especially the talk around the assassination of Donald Trump, when you look at how much distrust we have for our government and how much how almost it's obvious that this was some sort of inside job, right? Is it outside the realm of possibility when you know that the government will pair and work with the mob, will work with gangsters, right? Will work with the Mexican cartels, with the South American, what was their Constanistas? Is that what they were? You know, like, we know that our government will do shady things. And is it possible that this was an attempted assassination before, you know, where we're at now? Because this was back in 2018. So this is this guy, right? So this is some weird stuff. This just came out. This just resurfaced not too long ago. And so it's sort of building this narrative that's been going on for a long time, that Diddy is more than just what he seems. He has bigger connections. He has another agenda in mind. So I do want to go over now, and there is someone else who is involved in this, and I don't think a lot of people are giving much attention to this, but this is from Radar. Diddy's PR guru abruptly quits days after his Ghislaine Maxwell-style fixer chief of staff is ID'd as potential key witness in rapper's sex trafficking case. So the PR person took off. Natalie Moore. So let's just let's read a little bit about this lady. Natalie Moore, the woman behind Sean Diddy Combs' image, has suddenly resigned following his arrest in a federal sex trafficking case. 55, served as the rapper's head of communications for over 20 years. However, by Wednesday morning, her phone was disconnected and her email was inactive, just months after she praised Diddy's work as truly humbling. Okay, so this woman knew what was going on, right? Like, you do not work with people on this level without knowing that these kinds of crazy things are going on, especially if you're the one who has to spin it into something positive, not into, like, there's these wild sex parties with underage, drugged up male and female prostitutes, you know? Natalie is gone, the source claims. She is 100% gone. She quit today and had no other choice. She had to quit. What else was she going to do? The situation left her with no other option. The source went on to note that Diddy's Diddy was her entire world. She will surely be deposed for this if she has not been already. She has most likely had her cell phone confiscated. Who knows what is on there? Eeg. Moore, originally from Australia, moved to New York City to start her career as a commercial photographer. However, she was handpicked by Combs to be part of his leadership team back in the late 90s and has been by his side as he grew his $400 million empire. Now, that $400 million empire has turned into $1 billion empire. So I wonder how old this article is. She has played a huge role in shaping his image as his portfolio of businesses, including the launch of his fashion label, Sean John. Okay, we blah, 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 blah. We got that. The source told DailyMail.com that Natalie stuck with Combs after the Cassie tapes came out. It is now a reckoning time for him and for everyone else involved. Prosecutors claim the sessions were elaborate performances that Combs arranged, directed, and masturbated during and often electronically recorded. Yes. One employee, Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Coram, was considered his right hand and was called the Ghislaine Maxwell to Combs. Combs's Jeffrey Epstein, and a separate. So this is his left hand. So people are bailing, friends. People are bailing, and his PR person is bailing. Who knows what she knows, right? Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Coram, branded the Ghislaine Maxwell style fixer, who could end up being the key witness after a sex trafficking. So this right here, no one is talking about her, Christina Coram, and we need to find out a little bit. Who is this person? Who is this person? Christina Coram. Okay, there she is. There she is. What do we know about this woman? How did she end up as Diddy's right-hand woman? Manipulator in chief. Oh, okay. I see. Give me 1 second, friends. I just got to put in my passcode. All right, so let's see. Diddy has said he couldn't function without his chief of staff, Christina Coram, who was allegedly so instrumental to his freak-offs and alleged sex trafficking enterprise. She's being called the Ghislaine to his Jeffrey Epstein. Diddy sits behind bars after being denied bail, which he's denied bail, and he also said that he wouldn't go and bang women. He wouldn't be around women. And he offered $100 million for bail. He's a high flight risk. Obviously, he doesn't want to be in prison. He is not doing well in there. I'm sure his life is crumbling around him, which it should be. As Diddy sits behind bars after being denied bail, and the feds pursue the investigation to his alleged sex trafficking venture, sources told the New York Post that Christina would know everything, as she was more like his manipulator-in-chief. Combs was arrested on Tuesday and indicted on 3 counts of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. And sources allege the Post that Coram helped him recruit sex workers, some underage, just as Maxwell did. This woman here. The indictment alleges that employees of Combs' enterprise would assist in Combs' freak-offs, sexual performances put on for the disgraced former mogul that were so long and taxing that participated needed IV fluids afterwards. By booking hotel rooms, ordering supplies, and soliciting sex workers to attend. Even before this week's indictment, in many lawsuits Combs has been hit with, Coram was identified as one of the driving forces behind his elaborate sex events, where many were allegedly forced to participate against their will. Producer Ronnie Little Rod Jones, in his complaint against Combs and his alleged enablers, claim Coram knowingly and intentionally participated in, perpetrated, assisted, supported, facilitated a sex trafficking venture. She was instrumental in organizing and executing the trafficking enterprise. She has not been arrested or charged with a crime yet. Diddy himself has emphasized Quorum's role in his daily doings. In 2020, he wrote that she keeps my world twirling and makes sure that I smile every day and I don't go into those dark places. One way she did that, as alleged by Lil Rod's lawsuit, was requiring everyone around Combs to carry a pouch or fanny pack filled with narcotics. Isn't that nice of her? She's just looking out for everybody, you know, looking out for her dude, just the boys, right? Diddy also praised Quorum in 2021 Facebook post in which he wrote, Christina, aka KK, keeps everything in my life and business running. So she knows. She's like the Kamala to Joe Biden. She is the last person in the room. Quorum starred with Diddy Bad Boy Records in 2013, according to the Post review of her now deleted LinkedIn photo, before she became director office of the chairman and was promoted to his chief of staff in 2020. So what's going to happen to this girl? No one's really talking about this girl, right? Like, no one's really bringing this girl up. And that's strange to me. That's very strange to me, because you would think, I mean, because like you think about Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell was a part of most of the reporting that went on, right? Like, everybody knew what was up with that. Let's go a little deeper into who she is. Is there like a Wikipedia or something? Let's just see if there's Quorum. I guess let's see. Can't stop, won't stop. There's not much on her, is there? Here's her biography. She is known for Can't Stop, Won't Stop, A Bad Boy Story. That is it. View agent. Okay, so not much on her, is there? Anyway, so that lady exists. So here's this. Now, I don't want to go too crazy on this. I don't really know who Press TV is, but it seems like they got something for the Zionists. But this was an interesting article that was written about Lucian Grange. Now, let's read a little bit about this. The Universal Music Group is the world's largest music company. The CEO, Lucian Grange, a supporter of the Friends of Israeli Offense Forces, heads a company with significant power. And so, why wouldn't you, if Israel has dual citizenship leaders that are publicly voted into office, why wouldn't they have CEOs in prominent places of influence? And there's a lot of talk about how hip hop and rap is really had a bad influence on the black and brown community. You know, so there is something to it, right? There is an influence. Ice Cube has talked about this, right? The people who come in and be like, hey, we want you to say it like this. We want you to say this. You know, maybe you should say like that and give this message. There are people who are dictating and controlling narratives. So why wouldn't you have people in places of power, such as CEOs of music groups? Because music has so much influence over everybody, right? Over everybody everywhere. So, he's definitely connected to Israel. And why wasn't he listed on the indictment? Why? That's so interesting. Why wouldn't they list him, even though he was named? They just left him off. Nothing about underage trafficking or anything either. That's so weird, because it's like, really, it really seems like it has a lot to do with what's happening right now when you have young underage kids basically being trafficked right now, right? Let's see. In 2022, I believe there was 80,000 missing children that were coming over the border. There is now like, what, 250,000 or something? In just 2 years, friends, it's jumped. It's nearly, I mean, it's more than doubled. That's insane. So this all seems to be all in line, right? Like it all seems kind of like it could just be connected in some weird way. This weird influence that's happening right now. So his wife, Carolyn Grange, funds the Zionist Federation and the Conservative Party, which I believe isn't that what Netanyahu's a part of? Billionaire Haim Saban has his own subsidiary through Universal and is known to be one of the largest donors to the Friends of the IOF in the organization's history. The infamous Lord Levy also worked with the financial consultant to Universal at the same time as fundraising for former Israeli Prime Minister and close friend Ehud Barak. However, the most important Israel lobbyist to emerge out of Universal Music Group is probably David Renzer, former CEO of Universal Publishing. Renzer, along with other well-placed figures in the music and film industry, started an organization by the name of Creative Community for Peace. The name sounds innocent enough, but examining the legal documents on its founding, we see that it is part of one entity called Israel Emergency Alliance with a group called Stand With Us. Stand With Us works closely with the Israeli Foreign Ministry of Affairs and has in recent years obtained funding directly from Israeli Prime Minister's office. You can see the Creative Community of Peace would use the word peace to obfuscate its intentions. As Stand With Us have said, always include the word peace in your answer. If the Israeli side says peace more times than the Palestinian side says peace, we will win the PR war. So, okay. So that's interesting, right? And again, I'm not sure on what's going on. And Renzer, that name is so familiar to me, obviously because it's in the. But who is that group? So these guys are directly. And look, again, I'm not trying to say that Jews rule the world, but I definitely am saying that why wouldn't you, as a country who has so many enemies and who is creating, or at least there is the image of the creation of this large anti-Semitic movement that's happening right now. So just some weird stuff. Let's see, CCFP. What is this? Despite their best efforts, the CCFP, Community of Peace, despite their best effort, the CCFP have not been able to live down their relationship with Stand With Us. The founder claiming there is no day-to-day relationship with it. However, that is hard to believe when they were legally the same entity, shared the same office address, and board members and founder David Resner is in fact married to Esther Resner, the founder of the president of Stand With Us. CCFP take credit for lobbying stars like Alicia Keys and Macy Gray to perform in Israel following BDS campaigns, which is the boycott, divestment, something, and that's for Israel. The BDS movement is against Israel. Campaigns asking to pull out in solidarity with the Palestinians. These operations included mobilization of Israeli's government. One of the organization's ambassadors, Ziggy Marley's son of the late great political firebrand Bob Marley, who his wife is, everyone says they're Zionists. What this is for Palestine. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know what that is. But okay, so there's definitely connection, right? So why wouldn't it, right? Why wouldn't this happen? So P. Diddy pedo party lawsuit snags another pro-Israel lobbyist. Billionaire Zionist Lucian Grange is the chairman CEO of Universal Music Group, the largest music company in the world. But since February, he and his company have also been named defendants in the lawsuit against hip-hop impresario P. Diddy. let me see. One of the most powerful men in music with ties to the Friends of the IDF organization has been accused in financing and attending parties held by the artist, which featured trafficked underage sex workers. Meanwhile, A-list actors Ashton Kutcher and other entertainment industry honchos close to Combs have maintained longstanding ties to the Israel lobby. One of the civil lawsuits filed by Rodney Jones, former producer hired by Combs, it accuses Diddy of sexual assault in graphic detail. So what they're saying, right, is that Lucien has definitely had ties, and they're definitely like, why is he funding these weird parties, right? Like, and he's definitely tied to Israel very deeply. So here is another former UMG figure moonlighting as lobbyist for Zionism is David Resner, the former chairman and CEO of UMG. Resner found blah, blah, blah. A government-linked front. Yeah, we know that. Another music industry executive tied to the P. Diddy case is Clive Davis, who has collaborated with the Creative Community for Peace, which we just read about. In 1994, Davis bankrolled a 23-year-old Diddy Bad Boy Records. Rumors in the hip-hop community of the relationship between the two extending beyond business dealings have swirled around for over a decade. More recent comments by imprisoned Death Row Records, Suge Knight, and former P. Diddy bodyguard Gene Deal have thrown fuel on it, which we've gone over. Both Knight and Deal also accused Combs of cooperating with federal authorities. Knight wrote in his since deleted post on X, "People, the raids today wasn't for Diddy. It was to destroy incriminating stuff on powerful men." Absolutely. That's what I feel too. Like, these raids were just there to go confiscate this stuff. And like the Epstein tapes, we'll never see them again, right? They're just gone. Meanwhile, in the recent... Yeah, we know that. We know all that stuff. Ashton Kutcher. Yeah, we cares about Ashton Kutcher. Anyways, so there is strong ties, right? There's strong... Resner, because we just... One of the civil lawsuits was filed. Accused. Okay, we know that. Where did that Mr. Combs, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Combs had hundreds of cameras in his home in L.A., New York, Miami. Mr. Combs required sex workers and underage girls to sign NDAs. Blah, 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 blah. Where did I see that David Resner thing? Lucien Grange, they're close friends. Fundraisers for Joe Biden. The Universal Group last month held a fundraiser for Joe Biden. Another former moonlighting lobbyist, David Resner of the blah, blah, blah. Celebrity. Let's see. In criticism, onslaught orchestrated. So I don't know why they even brought up Resner. Was he mentioned in the thing? Another former Universal movie. Okay. So I'm not sure how David Resner, but Lucien Grange is named in the Little Rod indictment. So he is in there. Anyways, we have one more person who is, you see all these people bailing, right? You see his PR person bailing. You see all these people just sort of taking a back seat while they see their former homie and boss fucking getting completely shook down. There's reports that he has not been able to, function well within prison. He's trying to get out. Obviously, he's having a hard time mentally, which good. This Kevin Liles is leaving 300 Entertainment just a day after fucking the whole Diddy thing goes down. And Kevin Liles, I believe, was named. Was Kevin Liles named? Kevin Liles named Lil Rod. Let's see if that comes up. I don't know if he was, I can't remember if he was named, so let's just say he wasn't, but he was definitely involved with Diddy in doing some shit. Kevin Lyles, co-founder of the current chairman and CEO of 300 Entertainment, was announced that he is leaving the label that brought the world stars like Megan Thee Stallion, Young Thug, and Migos. Billboard got a copy of the resignation letter Lyles wrote to staff at the company. In it, he said he will be stepping aside at the end of this month, though he will stay on as a consultant through the end of the year if he's not in prison. The move comes amid a number of significant changes in the upper reaches of 300 parent company Warner Music Group. CEO Max Losada left recently, as did Julie Greenwald, longtime head of WMG company Atlantic Records. Lyles said he will be devoting his time to continuing the fight to the end, the criminalization of hip-hop lyrics exemplified by the unjust prosecution of Young Thug. So he's fighting against, for free speech, which I support that. But if Young Thug is saying, yeah, I shot him, I killed him, and I buried his body at 324 fucking Nevada Street, He wrote the cultural impact we created in 10 years when starting from scratch is simply unmatched in the modern era. We transformed our value proposition mindset of independent muscle of a major into a model of the rest of the industry to chase in this new era of music. Wow, he really feels like he did a lot, didn't he? But if there is one consistent in the music and culture, it's that change is inevitable. In addition, Lyles said that in the short term, I'll be dedicating my other time to making history by electing Kamala Harris as the first African-American female president. She's not African-American, guys. She is Jamaican-American and Indian-American. But I guess she has African roots, I guess. I'm not trying to say she's not black, guys. Okay? It's just, I'm not trying to say anything like that. All I'm saying is that she doesn't technically qualify as African-American. I mean, technically, I guess she does, but it's Jamaican. Okay? I don't know. Semantics. Anyways, not talking about race. As we create it, here's the thing. He fucking wrote in like the lamest music journalist way of writing. It was so fucking cringe. Listen to this. As we created the first ever label ecosystem in the industry, we celebrated trap queens. We dripped too hard as a lifestyle, and it was always a hot girl summer, even though our skis, he wrote, we have leaders like the bad and the bougie Raina Bass. Okay, so he's using how writers use. It's so stupid. So this comes just a day. I think it was just a day after. Let's see. What's today? Today is the 19th. Oh, it's the 20th. Oh, it's Friday. So this was Tuesday, which this is. Let's see. Oh my God. 19th was Thursday. 18th was Wednesday. Tuesday was the 17th. So this comes out. So the same day that the indictment falls, Kevin Lyles, who is connected to Diddy, is leaving. So I'm just wondering what's going on with Kevin Lyles. What's happening? I can't remember if he's in the indictment. Oh, gosh darn it. Here, all hip hop has. What's the deal with this? I want to know what the deal is too. A series of indictments following the aftermath of the music industry. One of the biggest names, Kevin Lyles. Lyles is no noob. He's a highly influential, impactful figure in the music world. Not only that, he's an advocate for artists like Young Thug, who are going through, Recently, Kevin Lyles has been caught up in rumors circulating across various platforms. Even TMZ linked his recent resignation from 300 Entertainment in a headline which raised eyebrows. Many found the timing suspicious. However, outside speculation, one has to wonder what could have driven someone as prominent as Kevin to step down at that exact moment. What I'm getting at is if something serious were going on, Lyles would likely have chosen a more discreet time to resign. Sources close to me have reached out and emphasized that his departure has nothing to do with Diddy's legal troubles. Let me see. Okay. Nowadays, platforms like TikTok are responsible for creating more stars than traditional record labels. My source, blah, blah, blah. So they're saying that it's not it has anything to do with them, but yeah, there is something there. There is a connection, right? Let's see. Of course, biggest industry news, Diddy's indictment. Prosecutors are investigating felony freak-offs, and everyone who knows something about them is understandably shook right now. We spoke to Kevin back in April. He told us he never knew the Diddy. He never knew the Diddy who got plastered in the media after all the allegations or numerous lawsuits and stuck to him. Lyle's transition will happen at the end of the month. Several music executives are stepping down. Elliot Grange, oh yeah, that's right. That's Lucian Grange's son. 10,000 Projects founder and son of Universal CEO Lucian Grange has been introduced as a new CEO of Atlantic Music. That's right. So, very interesting stuff, guys. Like, we got stuff that is just not making sense. It's so weird what's happening with all of this stuff, man. Like, I don't even know how to frame it other than, like, this has to be some sort of Jeffrey Epstein kind of operation. And these types of things always get leaked out. And now he's under suicide watch, which is now, you know, where everyone's thinking he's going to get Epstein. So everyone's been saying he's in the same jail as Jeffrey Epstein. He is not. Jeffrey Epstein was in a Manhattan jail. Diddy is in a Brooklyn jail where they held Ghislaine and R. Kelly and Sam Bankman-Fried, but not where Epstein was suicided. So just a little bit more info for you guys. And of course, that's it for now, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm sorry it took so long to put out a video. Things have been crazy, but hey, we're back. I've been putting out shorts, and you can follow me on my other channels and all that stuff. I'm putting out content all the time. It's just I don't always have time to do this. So I appreciate y'all for sticking with me. I'm being shadow banned on YouTube right now, so if you're not seeing this in your feed, make sure you are putting on the subscribe and notification bell, and it just helps. So love you guys. Have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.